All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have any questions related to NASCAR, that isn't a stupid question, feel free to shoot them my way at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that is just not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. We're focusing on the final race of the season for the Truck Series. And boy, is it disappointing to see. It's disappointing to see the size of these contests, because we kind of got bigger contests again, because it's the last race. But then it just had to be ruined by soft pricing and just horrible chalk. We'll break that down in this video. Remember, go to racefortheprize.com to get the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet that I use and that you need to be using as well. This is the last week that you got to pay for it. I'm sure if you message Pierce at Race for the Prize on Twitter, be like, hey, I would like to see this sheet one last time. Can I send you $10, $8, $5? I guarantee you he'll take any money you're giving him, and he'll let you see this sheet. And remember, this sheet will be free next year for everyone to see. So, I think it's the best sheet ever. There's no reason to even get, any other website subscription or anything like that. It's not going to be updated nearly as much, but I mean, the research behind this, it's such a great tool for research. It's a game changer. I don't know why you'd pay for any other website. Let's look at the drivers here. I haven't read too much. I'm recording this Thursday morning, so not too many articles are out. Pricing was released last night, so not a whole lot of things coming out in terms of where chalk is, where other people are talking about. I haven't really seen a whole lot yet, so we'll see. But what I have seen is that people are pushing Grin Finger. I mean, one of the only articles I did see was on a website with a figure that has, I don't like name dropping, whatever. Either way, like, first and foremost, this was before price was even out, but they were like, Grin Finger. Grin Finger is our favorite play. You gotta play Grin Finger. What? Dude, are you crazy? Grin Finger is horrible. Grin Finger is a horrible play this week at Phoenix. Oh, what are you looking at? You saw that he won last week at Martinsville, and you think that's really going to transfer through to Phoenix? Are you looking at his history? Enfinger's finished 5th and 4th the last 2 years, or the last 2 races here. I mean, I guess you could look at that. You want to look at his race rating at Martinsville? I mean, he was 3rd, but you got to remember that race was kind of a wreck fest. We had a lot of people getting turned around, and Grin Finger just Earnhardted his way through the field. I mean, he won that race just because nobody else wanted to get in front of him because they knew he'd wreck him. Are you looking at Richmond, really? I mean, he was fastest at Richmond. I mean, he did win Richmond as well, but are you seriously going to take Enfinger over Zane Smith, Creed, Moffitt, Crafton, Eckes, Friesen? You're going to take him over all the... I'm not a huge fan of Grin Enfinger. I think he's going to be really chalky because he's starting on the pole. People are going to think that, hey, he's a great play. I don't think so. And yet again, just remember, this is my podcast, my ideas, my thoughts. This isn't to help you build a lineup. Grin Enfinger is a good play, starting on the front row, starting first, has a fast car. I think he's a terrible DraftKings play because there's way too much ownership on him. Let's break this down here. So this is some BS pricing. It's too soft. It's too easy to play whoever you want, and it will split if things doesn't get crazy. I know it says cray right there because some people like, me using my lingo like dummy thick on a tweet that one guy was confused on. But look, I don't need to go through and really break. I'm gonna break it down normally, but I mean, you got Johnny Sauter, you got Austin Hill starting 17th, you got Chandler Smith starting 21st, you got Ryan Truex at a cheap price. You got a lot of chalk plays, and that's just for place differential. Some people are gonna like Sam Maher. I don't like him a lot. We'll get into that as well. But there's a lot of chalk. I saw in the freemium Discord that I hop in and out of here and there. That's Jason's from NASCAR or Free NASCAR DFS. I usually just read through there to see what people are saying. One guy this morning was like, "Oh, Time to pack my bags. I don't even need to do any research, man. This truck race is easy. This slate is easy. The slate is easy. We don't got to do any research. We already got it. I mean, it's so easy. We already know the plays. What are you talking about? That's bad for daily fantasy sports. That means a lot of people are going to come up with the same cores. I guarantee you, people are going to use Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, Hocevar. That's going to be a core people use. They're going to be Enfinger, Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, Zane Smith, Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes. I mean, the same cores are going to be used in and out of. To be different, you need different cores, but to win, those cores, those chalk plays have to bust. So let's break this down here. So very chalk plays, I mean very super chalk plays with pricing and place differential are going to be used a ton in especially the big tournament. What is that? Let's check it. What is the big tournament looking like this week here? Bring it up on my iPad, so I'm going to use it on my computer. Let's check it out here. Yeah, the big truck season finale is a $100,000 prize pool, 14,000 people in it. That's not too big for NASCAR. For trucks, it's huge. And for people hopping on DraftKings, not knowing what they're doing, they're going to open this up and they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to select my driver. Oh, hey, Chandler Smith offers great place different. Oh, Sam Maher. Oh, Austin Hill. Oh, Dylan Lupton. Oh, Matt Kraft. And the casuals are going to pick the same drivers. A lot of DFS players are going to play the same drivers because they're safe and they're in a great place differential and, they're cheap. But if you do that, this isn't one of those situations where you're going to enter a lineup that's tied with or that has the same lineup as 2 or 3 people. This is a contest I can easily see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people sharing the same cores, sharing the same lineups. This is easily a situation to where this tournament can split for first place, and it won't split between 2, 4, 6, 30 people. I can see this easily splitting between 150 people, 200 people, just because of the chalk that we see here. If things don't get crazy, if people don't wreck each other, if everybody projects out the way they should finish, it's going to be a very, very chalky slate. A lot of ties, the only way to really be different is to not have those guys. I mean, most lines are going to have 3 $9,000 plus guys, probably 2 $6,000 to $7,000 guys, and either a punt in there or they're going to play balance with the remaining 3. But that's how most lines are going to be made. So, just be aware of that. This isn't, I mean, it's easy pickings. You can be like, oh, I mean, this guy's in a great spot. This guy's in a great spot. This guy's in a great spot. But if everybody's thinking that, I would highly, highly advise you to just say, screw it. I'm either going to, if I play chalk and that chalk wins, I'm going to split with a ton of people, or I can just not play the chalk plays, or at least try and be different. Play a low-owned guy to really get off that ownership and hope that some chalk bust and hope that some chalk wrecks. That's what it is. And I'm not saying, build a lineup with Reaume, Cobb, Hill, Gray, Gillen as your lineup or something like that. I'm talking about, you got to play chalk plays and then play some really low-owned guys that aren't being looked at or aren't being considered. I need to make him chalk because people are going to play Sam. So let's start breaking it down from the bottom up now that we just talked about Grin Finger, because I think he's a bad play. Robbie Lyons grades out pretty well for me. He should finish well. I'm looking at him finishing in the top 20. This race, also, I guess I need to mention this. This race really has no bad cars. Sure, you have the Reaume brothers with their trucks, and you have Jennifer Joe Cobb. But I mean, this is back to where there really are no bad cars, and with the possibility of so many leaders in this race, it might just be worth focusing on place differential, because we have seen, I'm going to rant about a lot in the Cup Series video on DFS Tavern and in the Xfinity video. But and if you haven't checked out the video that I posted on Monday, where I'm talking about, looking back at this season and what has happened, a lot of people, not just myself, but a lot of people, our projections aren't working out because races aren't playing out the way we expect them to do. People are playing stupid pit road games. People are playing 2 tires, no tires. People are staying out at weird times, and the positions get shuffled up where people that shouldn't be leading, but they're staying out because everybody else is pitting or they're taking no tires and they're just hoping for place differential. Those guys are coming to the front, and we're seeing some guys lead that we don't expect to lead. We're seeing some guys win that we don't expect to win. So we got a lot of uncertainty. So with the possibility of so many leaders here, because we have the 4 championship drivers in there, I'm sure we got guys wanting to win the race as well. I mean, Friesen has looked amazing these last couple weeks. He's just ran into some bad luck. I expect him to be a contender for that. So just be aware that I don't expect there to be one true dominator, and I don't expect it to be like 2 or 3 big dominators to where 2 or 3 guys lead all the laps. I really expect this race to be spread out between lap leaders, fast laps. So just keep that in mind. Going back to Robbie Lyons, easily top 20 car. Fine with that. Dylan Lepton, we've seen this before. I got him projected for 14th. With a ceiling of 7th. I think he should do well. We've seen this car run very well, even with Haley Deegan, with David Reagan, with everybody who's hopped in this car. This is by far one of the best cars in the field. And with what I just said there, I think there's going to be a lot of lap leaders, a lot of people switching positions and not concentrating on just one guy. I think Dylan Lepton ranks out better than people like Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed, Matt Crafton. Just because, like I said, I think a lot of people are going to lead laps, and Dylan Lepton, his positions are at least guaranteed through place differential. Josh Reaume, we got to see if they're sponsored. I don't got a whole lot of information right now. They're not really talking about it. They'll probably talk about it tomorrow more, so just keep that in mind. You got to keep always looking. Jennifer Joe Cobb, I mean, if you're looking to punt, that's really all it is. I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm just going to call him Ao. I think that's less racist than trying to attempt to say his name. He has started race. I think he started a race earlier this year. Let me just make sure here, because he and Work Pro. I don't think Work Pro sponsored him. He finished 25th at Texas. Should finish around the same spot here at Phoenix. But you just can't lose you any positions. If you think this race is going to have a lot of people getting angry at each other, moving people out of the way, not as bad as the Xfinity Series, but I can see him being a play that you go to. Tate Fogleman. Damn it. It's Tate Fogleman chalk all over again. If there's a place to play Tate Fogleman, it's him starting 28th in a field of 33 cars at a price tag of $5,800. He should finish 18th. DNF factor is obviously there because the guy can't drive to save anything. But, it's there. Spencer Davis, I'm not interested. Tyler Hill starting 26th. More expensive than Tate Fogleman. Should finish around the same area. If this race has a lot of cautions, I expect to see Tyler Hill in the mix at the end of the race, either staying out on old tires or, just trying it out, because the Hill brothers have the entire offseason to repair whatever happens here. They're going for broke. I imagine Tyler Hill shows up, but he needs cautions late in the race. He needs a lot of wrecks in the last stage to really be able to capitalize on that. Because of that, I got to rank him a C. I like him. I got him projected for 18th, but I'd rather play Tate Fogleman. Let's just make sure we're still recording. All right, cool. That's just how it is. Tate Fogleman, chalk. Ryan Truex, gonna be chalk again. $6,400. Stupid chalk price. Starting 25th. Should finish around 16th, 17th if we don't have mechanical failures. We've seen mechanical issues plague Truex this year with Nice Motorsports. We just gotta hope, that's how it is. Dawson Cram, this is interesting for a guy, and that's me, who normally takes really sketchy plays and stuff. I haven't been too crazy on Dawson Cram. I've talked about him pretty much every week at this point. The truck is holding up. He's finishing these races. He said that, they were focusing on Martinsville to run very well, and I was like, yeah, right, whatever. He finished 16th. So right now, Martinsville, these short tracks are the places where these guys are showing up, where the Cram family's showing up. I don't like it. I'm sure people will go there. We've seen a lot of ownership on Dawson Cram. I'm just not a huge fan of him. $5,400. We'll see what happens. Tanner Gray starting 23rd, $7,100. Yet again, too cheap. Too cheap. Gray out pretty well. If we see him actually get through the race without wrecking somebody or having a mechanical failure, he should easily finish top 15. That's just how it is. Not really a whole lot to say there. Todd Gilliland starting 22nd. Chalk. I imagine he's a chalk play if you're not getting 2 people inside the top 5 or inside the top 10. So he's a pivot off of those guys in the top 5, top 10. But, that slight difference in ownership still makes him chalky. I got a lot of interest in him as well. But, starting 22nd, should finish around. I think Todd should get a top 10. That's how I look at it. Chandler Smith, you know, Brandon Jones bought a ride last week at Martinsville to try and get ready for the Xfinity Series. Didn't work out. You know, he kind of wasted KBM's time. Now, because that Chandler Smith has start 21st, gonna be chalky again. Chandler Smith at 10,400. Chandler Smith should be higher than 10,400. I know that's crazy to say, but he should be like 11 grand, 11.2, somewhere around there. Too cheap for him. Should get into the top 8. Has a chance to win this race. Has a chance to fight for a top 5. And with not a lot of laps, I understand how many laps is this? Should be 150 laps. Let me check right fast. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Yeah, it's Lucas Oil 150. I knew that, but I just want to make sure. Also, quick rant right here. Last year, I was at the Phoenix race in November. It's pretty much the only Phoenix race I go to now, just because it is the closest race that my mom and I can go to. I've been going to Phoenix ever since 2011. We went last year. We bought the tickets early in advance, and obviously COVID happened and everything. But they were like, hey, if you went to the Phoenix race in November of last year, you'll be the first people to have you'll have early access to buy championship tickets for this year's race at Phoenix. And we were like, oh, sweet. So when tickets went on sale, I think in March, it was right after the first Phoenix race. You know, we logged in, we got our tickets, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, everything, you know, happened with COVID and everything. And I basically put all the money on the tickets, and Phoenix is like, hey, I know you already paid for the tickets. I know we promised you access, but we're going to give it to season ticket holders first. So we're going to move the money that you put on this year's Phoenix ticket and just put it on next year's Phoenix. So if COVID isn't still going on, you could go to next year's championship race. And so, I mean, that's the story of how we lost our tickets to go to Phoenix this year, because we were going to go, but obviously we did not. So anyway, get that out of the way. Jordan Anderson, I think he wrecks. He's not had a good year other than finishing third at Daytona, or second at Daytona. He's just not had a good year. Poor little guy. Carson Hocevar, too cheap. My main man, $6,900. Nice. Far too cheap. You know, top 15 potential there. Spencer Boyd, not going to play him. Don't like him. Don't want to play him. Austin Hill, Johnny Sauter, I got nothing to tell you here. You know, we are taken hostage, man. We have been drugged. We have been thrown in an alleyway, and we have been kidnapped. We have a gun to our head to play Austin Hill and Johnny Sauter. You can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. Austin Hill, $9,600. Are you serious? Why is he so cheap? Because he blew a motor last week? What? I mean, maybe they're looking at his Phoenix run last year of 13th, but come on. He is one of the top 5 cars in the Truck Series, and you're going to give him at $9,600 starting 17th? If you think that's stupid, if you think that's criminal, Johnny Sauter at $7,800, who is doing the pricing here? This week has the worst pricing on DraftKings I've seen this year. It's ridiculous. Johnny Sauter should never be $7,800, especially even when he was blowing motors each week, when he had that run of mechanical issues at Gateway, at Darlington, at Richmond. He still wasn't this cheap. This guy, I mean, look, he's either a top 10 contender, top 5 contender, or he wrecks, or he has mechanical failure. There is no in between. If there is no mechanical failure, Johnny Sauter will finish 6th place. That's just how it is. Sam Maher, people are going to hop on Sam Maher, and Sam got lucky last week, and he finished 18th at Martinsville. He got trapped a lap down early, couldn't get through the field. Like I was talking about with Kligerman last weekend, I was afraid he was going to get trapped a lap down. Sam Maher got trapped a lap down early, but because cautions at the right time, because of lucky dogs, because of wave rounds, Sam Maher was able to get off of the lap, or get his lap back rather, and he was able to finish 18th. $10,000 to Sam Maher. I know people are going to play him. I know he's going to be popular. I don't think he does very well. I think even though he's ran the ARCA series before, I know he's gone to ugly ass tracks in ARCA and everything like that, and K&N, but I don't like this at all. I do not like this play. Sam Maher, Grin Finger. I think they're bad plays. I think they're trap plays, like hentai traps or whatever. And I just don't want to stay around him. I don't want to play him, and that's just how it's going to be. So I don't have him projected well. I don't think Sam Maher does well. And, I think what helped him dominate Bristol were the bankings. He struggled elsewhere. I just think that's how it goes. I don't think Sam Maher does well. Austin Wayne Self, $6,000 for Austin Wayne Self, 14th. Not interested. Ryan Lessard starting 13th. This is a play. And I've said this before, and I don't know how much ownership is going to be on him because I haven't really read anything else. Haven't seen anything else this week yet. Rafael Lessard might be a guy you have to go to just have a different lineup. Same with Trevor Bayne. They're not grading out well. They're certainly not good plays, but that's how you got to be different. Danny Bone, not going to do well. Tyler Ankrum. Maybe you go with Tyler Ankrum. He's had a rough year, starting 10th. I mean, if he doesn't get wrecked, you need a lot of stuff to go his way. Stuart Friesen, I like, starting 9th, ranking out very well. I think he contends for a top 5, can contend for this win. Derek Krause, just not interested. Don't think. I know he's $7,500. Maybe that's where you go. Maybe. I mean, I don't think I'm going to have $7,500 left. I don't think people are going to go to Derek because you have to build your lineup a very specific way to get him in your lineup. Just got to see, man. Chris Neckis, I like. Ben Rhodes, not really interested in. Matt Crafton, I'm sure people are. It's tough, man. I mean, all these guys grade out well. They're not at a horrible pricing, but it's just weird, man. This is weird pricing. This is entirely an ownership slate, and that's what it is. I mean, Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed. Creed is my favorite to win this race. But I don't know how many laps he led. I don't know how many laps he leads. I don't know how many fast lap he has. I really need to work on that today to get a good projection there. But right now, I'm thinking I'm going to really focus on place differential and really focus on just playing a wacky lineup that has somebody that no one's going to play. So who is that? Who would I look at to have very low ownership, to be a quote-unquote bad play, but in a sense, in a slate where there's so many good plays, and it forces you to go in so many good directions, you got to play bad plays. So I'd probably put Tyler Ankrum in that. I'd probably put Trevor Bayne, Rafael Lessard, Jordan Anderson. Man, I mean, after that, it's rough, man. After that, it's rough. Maybe AO, go with him. I know he's sponsored at least. He is sponsored. I guess I should have put that there. I mean, he is sponsored. He's been talking about it for weeks now. So AO is sponsored. We just got to see how it goes, man. Just got to see where the ownership lies. Who doesn't talk? Jennifer Jo Cobb, Josh Reaume, might as well. They're probably the safest. They start dead last, basically, starting 30th and 31st respectively. They get some wrecks to go their way. Jennifer Jo Cobb might end up being a good play of pure attrition. That's just how it's going to go. This is not a fun slate to be in. If you're a lot of the mass multi-entry guys are at a huge disadvantage this weekend. Because multi-entry, and it depends on how you do it. You can either, I keep whacking this, when you enter, say you enter 150 lineups in this contest, you either go about entering those lineups two different ways. You either spread ownership just apart, and you're going to have lineups that finish dead last and lineups that finish first through that, and 150 or 148 lineups in between those, or you make a player pool and just heavily make 150 lineups playing that player pool. So say if the contest is this, and this is first place, and this is last place, that chunk of lineups you made will either finish outside of cashing, in the middle, or at the top. That's how it's going to go. Those are the two ways that most people enter lineups. It's very difficult to enter 150 lineups when there's so much chalk like this, because the point of making 150 lineups is to try and get a lineup that isn't owned by somebody that's still good, that can win. But when there's 12 drivers in this race that are just going to be chalky, that people are going to build tons of lineups around, it's hard to build 150 lineups that doesn't tie with somebody, that doesn't share a lineup with somebody, unless you're just playing just straight up bad plays. So keep that in mind. Don't go too crazy on this one. Move your money towards Xfinity. Move your money towards the Cup Series. At least there's kind of more variety there. This is a bad slate for the Truck Series, and it's a shame. This is the last time we're going to see the Truck Series this year. But that's about it, man. I'll catch you in the Xfinity video, and you know, just watch out for this slate. It's dangerous. Don't put too much money into this. You know, that's all I got to say. Catch you next time. If I can hit the button. There we go. I meant to end it when I said it there, but I forgot I got to move it up. See you guys in the next video.